Hola, soy Explora.
And I'm Blue.
¿Qué fue eso?
Huh?
Ay, dilo en español, por favor.
I don't know Spanish.
¿Cómo que no sabe? Hoy, we're going on an adventure. Adventure in Spanish is la aventura. Can you say aventura? Can you?
Adventura?
We'll work on it. Today, we're going to meet our friend, the Sniffer. Sniffer in Spanish is el olfateador. Can you say olfateador? Cállate. Not you. You lost your chance. Let's go visit the Sniffer, amigos. Vámonos. I think the Sniffer lives this way.
Are you sure this is the Sniffer's house? It seems a little small to fit one.
Have you seen this economia? It's a wonder they have a house at all. This is the door to the house. The word for door in Spanish is puerta. And you say puerta. I think I was holding the map backwards. This should be the way to the Sniffer. We had to go la izquierda, no la derecha.
What does that mean?
Use context clues, idiota. I know. There's the bill in his store. I sure hope he doesn't try to say, oh. Jesucristo. That was violent.
Maybe that wasn't the actual Zorro?
Ay, eres una vaca fea. Hola, señora Sniffer. Can we say Billy today?
Por supuesto que no. Mi hijo has not been the same since whatever you two did last week. He's banned from seeing you forever. Adios.
Okay, well, your door doesn't even close properly, so... Okay, whatever. Let's just go, Blue.
What did you do to Billy last week?
You know, you talk a lot. Billy talked a lot, too. Do you want to meet Los Caracoles like Billy?
Wait, who was Los Caracoles?
A new adventure awaits. Let's go. Vámonos.
Oh god.
It's ideas.
Welcome back to the Wildlife Recap Show. I'm Roseic, and we've apparently thrown another dodgeball blessed by Apollo this week. First off, a daring statement from Bdubs. He completed his house. After it was used as a basketball hoop last week, Bdubs finished off his tower, complete with safety rails and crenellations. There are multiple parts that seem flammable, but considering it's only been attacked by NBA-aspiring TNT minecarts, that's the least of his worries. Every tower got exploded this week by Martyn twice, so maybe the team just isn't meant to have homes. The vertical bridge of the Spanners was named after Mumbo in commemoration of their fallen friend. It's entirely fireproof, if you ignore the wooden bridge, and features a multi-branch TNT minecart launcher aptly named the Spider. An entire floor of rails that one walks across is exactly how Mumbo died, but just as omelets can't happen without cracking a few eggs, innovation can't happen without cracking a few skulls. Speaking of, to prevent cracked skulls, the pool underneath had been expanded by Grian to catch anyone that fell off. By the way, Skizz died, more on that later. As has become standard for the series, BAM HQ has continued to get unwanted visitors. To no one's surprise, it was yet again another victim of the spider. In what we're taking as a sign of foreshadowing, a blaze burnt down Jimmy's parrot, so be sure to look out next week for when he's gone. Yes, we're committing to the dodgeballs. The Bamboozlers made a secret BAM bunker to protect themselves and also hide their items, but given multiple other teams have seen the entrance directly next to their meeting room, it's not very good at being secret.
TNT, and then I had creeper spawn eggs, but no, I have 2 creeper spawn eggs. What happened?
He did like What's a 270-degree turn and never saw me until...
This is a BAM bunker! You get your BAM butt out of here, fool!
Gem's barn once again found itself the victim of arson, but by a blaze this time. While you may be concerned about the number of blazes appearing, we promise they're just doing their job. When all you've got is a hammer, everything looks like a nail, and when you're ablaze, everything is flammable. The base couldn't take a break, it seems, as its cow spawner was replaced by a creeper one, which Gem decided to destroy instead of letting it fester. Joel could have replaced it, considering he had a cow spawn egg this session, but it worked out because he wasted it later by killing it. Along with Scar setting off Etho's defensive TNT trap early by being nosy, the family island has ended up in shambles.
Shell.
Dude, what's this button do?
Oh wait, don't we owe you?
Oh shoot.
Scar, why would you press
Scar. Thanks,
Scar?
Scar.
I'm so sorry. I feel so
Did you
bad.
press the button?
Joel set up a trap underneath one of the bridges that can be entered via a cave entrance. The way the trap would be sprung is that if he were to ever be chased by someone trying to kill him, he would run through what looked like an innocent tunnel and block off the area behind him. If someone were to break the blocks to continue chasing, it would signal a calibrated skulk sensor and drop gravel beneath their feet. This would send them into a pit surrounded by crafting tables that would make it difficult to right-click, activate lava to burn them, and close in the blocks above so they can't use an ender pearl to get out. Knowing Joel, this will either not go to plan or never be used. It only took several weeks, but the Palace finally made their base fireproof! They removed the remains of their tree houses and built a small cobble tower in the middle of their lake, which had now increased in size. Martyn once again joked about turning it into a snail, but still hasn't done it. At this point, either commit or get off the pot. They also jumped on the secret bunker bandwagon, hiding it underneath a tree, because that's definitely not the first place anyone would look in this base. And finally, the final girls. Scott added another floor to Pearl's tower, causing her to call it a birthday cake, and Scott committed fully to the moniker. The base was filled with several traps by Cleo and Impulse, so if everyone walks very carefully, the team members should be fine. BigB's face is also fine. From a structural standpoint, we still take issue with the number of ways it does not look like BigB. Now, to address the Sniffer in the room, we go to our wildcard correspondent.
Hey guys, a lot of things got turned into animals this week. Including me. I'm a fox now. This week, the wildcard was activated at the same time for everyone except Lizzie. Something I've kept track of during my tenure here at the Wildlife Recap Show is every time Lizzie edits something into or cuts something out from her video. Just a fun little hobby of mine. I've not written any jokes for them in the past 2 sessions because I didn't have any. However, Lizzie edited in a pastel version of the countdown ellipses because she wanted to cut to the activation in the next clip. Slay. Ignoring Lizzie's anachronisms, there are actually 2 wildcard activations this week, which is a terrifying sentence until you find out that the first one didn't happen because Grian forgot. After everyone was driven to paranoia due to not seeing any signs of a wildcard, it activated the second time with a beacon sound effect and several popping noises.
I've got it off-camera level with you. I forgot to activate the wild card.
Okay.
I'm just saying. Careful.
Did you hear that?
Oh,
Turning on or turning off?
Turning off.
wait.
What's the pop? I'm hearing eggs.
Now, the way the gimmick for this week functioned has not been officially explained in any capacity at time of filming, so this summary is our best guess. Every single unnamed mob on the server disappeared into deadly puffs of smoke. We know that they died, by the way. When the countdown started, multiple people were told in chat that their pet wolves were killed. It seems that this was done to lessen the amount of mobs on the server for lag reasons, as several dozen mobs spawned shortly after, spread out across the map. This wasn't the end of it, as each mob was randomly replaced before being set upon the world. This would happen at regular intervals, estimated to be roughly every 10 minutes by the players. Quickly realizing that all the named mobs were unaffected, the players rushed to gather name tags and anvils to save the animals they liked. Long live our 2 favorite questions who survived the first purge, Etho Horse and Bdubs first. Every time the mobs regenerated, the randomizer would create slightly more dangerous mobs, changing the server's enjoyment of the novelty swiftly to fear. The Tuff guys converted much of the surrounding area of their towers into path blocks, and the Paddle Pals increased the square footage of their lake to prevent random hostile mobs from spawning and attacking. However, these are the lifers we're talking about, and having a healthy sense of fear for things that deserve it is not possible. An actual warden showed up, named Goober by Etho, and everyone who owned or tried it shoved the warden into a corner and pelted it like they were bullies in an 80s high school movie. Just like in real life, the bullying went unpunished and in fact was rewarded. Several players lunged into the water when they saw a totem, with Pearl being the lucky one to grab it. With a number of evokers around that did get killed, we can safely say that the loot tables were changed to make totems only available through killing a warden, along with also removing emeralds from the evokers' drop table. This isn't to say that evokers were useless to fight, as the illagers in this session were used to start a raid. Villagers were on the randomizer list this session, which was taken advantage of in 2 different ways. The first was by Scott, who named a few and stored them inside of the cake tower for later use. The second was by Impulse and Pearl, who seemingly can't stop being devious freaks this season. They first killed raid captains to gain the bad omen effect, then placed beds inside of the family's base to have it register as a village. A raid did start, worrying many people within his radius, but it quickly disappeared when the wildcard was randomized.
Enjoy!
Has fun not being at your face for a little bit. Ah, no! Did you slay by blue?
Defeated.
Oh, what a shame that is.
Mobs generating did seem to bug out quite a bit, even affecting mobs that didn't get regenerated. Bdubs and Etho's horse kept kicking them off every time the randomization hit, despite being named. Ren and Martyn, and also Gem and Pearl, found the same visual glitch with 2 different camels but remained seated despite being driven around.
I'll make you something, Grian.
Wait, what? What is that?
What's going on there?
It's a camel skateboard, dude. We're chilling. We're grinding.
What's happening here?
It's got worms, all right? Can we not worm shame over here, please?
No way, is that the Akira bike slide in Minecraft? The gimmick this week was not the focus this for more something to work around, providing a calmer episode. This is worrying as the last time this happened was episode 4, which came right before the Quizmaster. It feels less like a nice reprieve and more like a calm before a storm. We've seen that Mumbo and Skizz have dressed up as zombies, leading us to believe that they're going to return as part of the upcoming session. Just a note, I predicted something akin to the Secret Life Jimmy Ghost would return, so this shows 3 for 3 on Apollo dodgeballs. Finally, yesterday was Thanksgiving here in the US, so I'd like to say something that I'm thankful for. I'm thankful that end crystals were included in the mob randomizer. It was so funny.
Guys, just to let you know, there's only one person I knew that had an end crystal, and it was BigB.
That's a mob that's transformed into one. There's no obsidian under there.
Okay, nobody touch that.
Get rid of it.
Guys!
God, look at
I
this
got rid of it. I
radius on
diffused
that.
it. I'm the bomb diffuser.
No, Scar, you angered a bee. That's why you're poisoned.
Oh, come on.
With so many teams low on lives, alliances are more important than ever. Unless you're Etho and allied with literally everyone. He started out at the Tough Guys meeting to keep up appearances, but quickly ditched them to make sure he'd get to the other meetings he had that day. Tango and Bdubs, ever the jealous housewives, did not like that. He got caught in traffic heading to the final girls, but given they don't actually have meetings, he technically wasn't late. They also don't kick people out of their group despite what BigB thinks. They just prefer creaking BigB, who is in fact an ally.
Yeah.
Hey BigB, in you come.
I don't have a key, so okay, all right, yeah.
Door's open. Well, come on
He's
in.
got his creaky skin back on.
Yay!
Hello.
We like creaky BigB.
Oh.
You like? Yeah.
Very nice.
I've got slightly
fits
more
the creaking
creaky.
neighbor, so.
Yeah.
We approve of this one more. This one is less betrayal based.
Despite this, Cleo offers a widow's alliance to both BigB and Etho, which doesn't quite make sense, but okay. Next up on his route was the family. The wildcard still hadn't taken effect at this point, so everyone's still running around anxious. Part of that anxiety was Etho's, as he's expecting Gem's peaceful facade to fall one day and explode like Mount St. Helens. That may well happen, because right after it seemed that she and Pearl talked over their differences on 2 Murder 2 Camel, Pearl and Impulse immediately tried to kill her with creepers.
Uh-oh. Scared.
Do it now, Pearl, do it! Uh-oh, me!
Kill her!
The family found a new member at the end of the session in Grian. After he lost Skizz, more on that later, he tried to team up with Martyn unsuccessfully before asking Joel and Gem. He even lied about liking the card to get in their good graces, but we still know your true feelings, Grian. Martyn did his usual shtick of snooping around everyone's bases this week, with the only consequence being that he exploded that one time. They did drive around together on Murder Camel Tokyo Drift to show off their new sick ride, but they did not interact much with the other teams this week. The Paddle Pals in general seem to have no major rivalries with any group despite all of their actions these past weeks. However, they also have no major alliances, but that's just because nobody wants to be friends with the theater kids.
Lady Gem, I give you my sword and my shield, and should I see anybody fiddling with your bovines, they shall perish in the
Fiddling with your
furious
shield or what now?
swiping, like this, whoop, and of this, and of
This
this.
is why Bdubs calls us the D&D fellas.
Last up is the Bamboozlers. Grian once again tells Scar that his alliance is only with Scar, not the rest of his team, but that may change now that he's allied with the family. The Bamboozlers also appear to be a relatively liked faction. While he's not a member, yet, Etho was willingly showed the location of their secret bunker, so if we see him allied with them next week, we wouldn't be surprised. In order to have allies, people need to actually be alive, so let's look at how close everyone is to dying.
There are 2 things certain in this life. We all gotta eat and we all gotta die. The 2 things used to be death and taxes, but we all know rich people don't pay those. Anyway, on to the deaths that occurred this week. For this week's sacrificial deaths, Lizzie almost died to a combination of a witch poisoning her and a Vex summoned by an evoker. She fled to the Bam bunker, where she had Jimmy take her life, bringing her down from a dark green to lime, and Jimmy back up to yellow. Meanwhile, Jim also dropped to lime when she stood still and let Skizz kill her with a TNT minecart, which he somehow struggled with, but eventually managed to gain a life out of it.
Nice! Thank God!
He did lose that life to BigB's revenge-driven creeper kill, even though Lizzie warned him about it, but what's important is that he was green for just a few moments. Mumbo managed to get revenge from beyond the grave as Grian's renamed Iron Golem blooped Jimmy out of existence, or at least out of the yellow life he had just gotten back. Jimmy definitely should not have celebrated so hard last week. Similarly, Martyn, for once, experienced the consequences of his actions. When he walked by Beetle, Tango discussing a trap Lizzie had set up in Etho's tower, he poked around inside and reaped the consequences almost immediately.
And things.
Oh, really?
Yeah, just saying.
Okay.
Never mind.
Hey,
Those were
Martyn,
good
go
for
down
us.
to where the little lava cauldron is.
Where is it?
The wild card claims its own share of victims, including both BigB, killed by a Vindicator while he was enchanting, and Lizzie, who was slain by another Vex. It even met with the trial chamber to become a very deadly combination. Etho died to the deadliest combination, however, skeleton and lag. We did get some convex crumbs when Scar was killed by a Vex, reminding us that Vexes are canonically cannibals.
One question for you.
Yes.
Does this count as cannibalism? If I walk in here?
Oh my gosh, you got eaten by a Vex, and you are a Vex. Oh my. You know, I've watched a lot of Gilligan's Island in the past, and I'm going to say yes. But that's okay.
The Bamboozlers' bad luck was not over. Lizzie died again to a trap set by BigB on Cherry Mountain Stairs, which Jimmy reacted to kindly.
Whoa! BigB! You son of a... You BigB!
This left their team with a grand total of 4 lives between the 3 of them by the end of the session. And finally, Skizzleman met his match with the humble wind charge item, losing his yellow life, 1 at Martyn's hands, having his divorce with Tango finalized when his series ended with being blown off of Mumbo's tower by the red-eyed menace, who we need to remind the audience is a limelight. After his exemplary eulogy for Mumbo last week, Etho was once again called upon to say a few words. He apparently refuses to read, since he walked across Skizz's grave to stand in front of Mumbo's.
Oh, you want to say some words about Skizz?
Skizz, man, we love you, guy. You're one of the best out there. Always
Wrong
keeping
race
it
then,
real.
buddy. Wrong race,
here.
bro.
Sorry.
What a joke.
Man, I suck at these.
Y'all ever think about how this is called the Life series, but everyone ends up dying? Do you think the irony is on purpose? No, they're not that clever.
And that's it for this week. With less than half the server online, we're expecting the server to spiral as we enter the endgame. We're uncertain if we will have 1 or 2 sessions left, but it's bound to be action-packed no matter what. Here is a list of everyone's current lives. There were a total of 12 deaths this session, with the current permadeath count now 2. I've been Roseic, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week.
Dang, this guy's dead too.